Hey everybody, there's been some questions about the Polar H10 heart rate monitor. So I'm in a short video, we're going to clear some things up. First thing is, if you see in this picture, half of it's unclipped. Every time you use it, when you're finished, you need to unclip half of it. It's better for the sensor and it helps the battery last longer. So that's going to clear up a lot of problems right there. Obviously, before you start it again, just reclip it, but when you're done, unclip. The next thing you can do is also add water to the sensor to get it going on the belt strap. So if you look at your sensor readings and we have what we have here, you'll see how it's dropping off into the black, which is a really low heart rate. You know, it's falling off completely, and then the green, it's barely getting up there. So what we're going to do is, this is a little tutorial on how to adjust that, because this is the other thing that might make a big difference. Is when you see that the heart rate's going up and down, we have other ways of fixing that. So the first is to establish our max heart rate. We're going to need max heart rate and a resting heart rate. There's multiple ways to get the heart rate. One is through a calculation I'll show in a minute. The other is through the Polar Beat app. Open the Beat app in the bottom right. You'll see settings. Click on settings. It opens this up. From here, I'm going to click on my name. It's going to bring me over to this page, some information. I scroll down and look, there it is, max heart rate 184. Let's say you don't have that app though. Then what do? I prefer the Hunt formula, which should be highlighted right there. Yes, so that's 211 minus 0.64 times your age. So for me, I'm 42. If you look at that, 211 minus 0.64 times 42 equals 184.2, which that's good enough for what we're doing. Next thing we're going to need is the resting heart rate. So resting heart rate's a little trickier to get. That you have to collect it first thing in the morning before you get out of bed, ideally. So if you've been to the hospital recently overnight, they'll get it for you. Mine is 60. I use a little app, like a heart rate actual app, that I put my finger over it. And so I did that lying in bed over a couple days, and I got an average of 60. So that's what I'm looking for, is this low rate. Essentially what that is now that I have the max and the min, we know that my heart rate reserve is 124. That's what I'm working with. So if you look at that, how do we find the heart rate reserve? It's the max minus the min. It gives us the 124. So next we're going to set aerobic threshold. And this is an estimate. We're going to use 70 to 80% of the heart rate reserve. So I'm going to use the lower limit for this app. So if we scroll back up, you'll see how it goes by the 10s, 10, 70, 80. I'm just using 70 for this one. So if I do the 70 times my heart rate reserve plus my resting heart rate, I get 147. So that's important. So my aerobic threshold, 147. That's if I'm doing a nice casual jog. That's going to be what I'm kind of working at. So next is my anaerobic threshold. That's the higher limit. So this one's done in the 85 to 90% range. So very similar to what I just did before. It's the heart rate reserve. I'm doing 0.85 because that's what I found online. Everywhere it was saying if you're just kind of estimating it to do the 0.85. So I did the 0.85 times that percentage, gives me the 165. So 60 plus 124 times 0.85, that's 165. From here, I now have those numbers that I need. Once I have those numbers, I'm jumping over to the Polar Flow app. It has to be the Polar Flow, which is different than the Beat. I click on the 3 bars, then click Account, and then from there click Settings. Settings is going to open up. I'm just covering some PII here. I scroll down and then there it is, all my information you need. So max heart rate 184. Remember that? I entered that. Resting heart rate, you see that 60. Remember we got those two numbers. What's the aerobic threshold? 147. You can edit any of that. Anaerobic threshold 165. We've calculated all that. So now I'm putting those numbers in there. This also has my VO2 max. I've done a VO2 max test. If you do that, we can enter that information. I think it calculates it for you anyway. Now that I have all those numbers, I'm going to click Save, and then it will update through both apps.